Well, it's always good to learn lessons after a win. I thought that our approach to Missouri S&T was not very good leading up to the game. And it's always hard to get your guys to embrace and understand how important it is to be locked in and respect your opponent. Most guys think just because they're Division II and we're Division I that means we automatically get a win. So we gave an example of SIUE losing their exhibition game against a Division II opponent. And then we also were able to see their statistics against UMKC and how hard they did, how well of a job they did on the offensive glass and attacking and things like that. So it was a good learning experience for our guys to understand their approach to each game. And I think what happens is, even for a team that won 5 games last year, we overlooked our opponent because guys are excited about playing Illinois. And what I tried to impress upon them is, you guys are crazy if you think you're going to have any chance against Illinois if you're not ready to compete and take this opportunity against Missouri S&T.
Coach, it seemed like you talked about kind of not being ready in that approach. Seemed like late in that first half, maybe the guys started to understand what they were up against a little bit. Is that kind of what you saw there about the time? It seemed like the last few minutes of that first half, you guys were playing better basketball.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we started to compete and do some of the things that we coach our guys to do. The disappointing fact is that it takes that amount of time to guys to start to realize that this team came here to compete. Missouri S&T, I've known Jim Glash forever since he was a junior college coach at Only Central, and I know he does a tremendous job with his guys and gets his guys to play with passion. So I knew that they would come in here and be ready to compete. But it just shouldn't take that long. It shouldn't take that realization. They got to understand every single time they set foot on that wood that they got to be ready to compete, because we're not that team yet that can just go out here and lace them up and just be more talented than everybody else. We're not Kentucky.
Obviously the thing that stood out was their three-point shooting in that first half. Did a much better job defending that in the second half. What did you guys have to do better from that aspect to kind of cut that down?
In a simple word, contest. We talk to our guys all the time that we don't want to give up any uncontested shots. And I thought guys are very comfortable shooting the basketball. So I thought it was twofold. I thought the first thing is guys were just looking at us and then with our hands down and just shooting a comfortable three. The other part of it, though, came from our inability to guard them off the bounce. We were giving up straight line drives, and so our help would come over, but you would have to help so much because it was a straight line drive. By the time that guy recovered back to his man, it was a wide open three. So I thought those were the two biggest things that we adjusted in the second half in order for us to have a little bit more success guarding the three-point shot.
And also offensively, you guys shot much better in that second half. Was that just a matter of getting better looks? What kind of tweaks did you have to make to be able to be more efficient offensively?
Well, it's real simple, share the ball. I think we've got multiple guys out there that can make plays, that can make shots, that can break the defense down, but we just can't come down and hoist the ball up after one pass, after two passes. We've got to work the defense, and I think once we work the defense, we got the ball moving from side to side to side, then we have much better looks and much better opportunities. But it also starts on the defensive end. We were able to get some stops and run out in transition a couple times.
I know you had some guys out, and obviously a couple of guys that you're counting on as leaders got in some foul trouble there. Just from a coaching perspective, what did you see from a positive standpoint as far as some guys that maybe are trying to get their feet wet right now, being able to put this one back together and come back for that win?
Well, I think the first thing is, we talk to our guys about one simple thing, being coachable. So I think what happens is we're in practice, and I always tell the guys, I'm not a referee. The assistant coaches are not a referee. So when we call a foul, just accept it and move on. But we blow the whistle a lot because we know college basketball is changing and they want to open things up. They want college basketball to be like college football. They want those college football scores between Texas Tech and Oklahoma. They want it to be like the Big 12. And so we're going to have to adjust to that. So we're going to have to be able to guard without fouling, but also still be able to contest with activity. So I told the guys at halftime, don't ever look at me again when I blow the whistle in practice, because we've had an exhibition game and a scrimmage and we've fouled 54 times and 55 times, so between the two opponents. So we've got to do a better job of being coachable and understand that's the way the game is going to be called, and it's a foul. The second part of that is we had some guys that are new to our program, like Denzel Mahoney and then also Daniel Simmons, step up to the plate and play well for us. And those guys are capable ball players. But I think what you'll see with this team is it can be different guys stepping up every single night, because I think we've got a talented roster, but that we just got to be much more coachable.
You mentioned those two guys. I was going to ask you about, obviously, their first games played well for the most part. What do you think of those two in particular, and what they were able to bring to the table today?
Well, Daniel is a young man that's got extreme amount of confidence. If you ask him back in the heyday when Michael Jordan was in his prime and you guys played one-on-one, he'd think he could really beat Michael Jordan in a one-on-one game of basketball. So with Daniel, it's going to be all or nothing at times. He's going to be out here and be terrific tonight. Then he can come out the next day and take bad shots and turn the basketball over. You saw there was a couple opportunities there at the end of the game that he tried to make a play and he should have just passed the basketball, where our best friend was the time. So we need to kind of just milk the clock a little bit. But he's a guy, because he's so physically strong, when he drives the basketball, he can just shed defenders. So he's a talent, and he's going to be able to help us. Denzel Mahoney, if we don't screw him up, he's going to be an all-OVC player sometime in his career. He just has so much poise to his game. He's already physically strong enough to come in and compete as a freshman, and he can make shots. And he's an unselfish guy. He doesn't take bad shots. He doesn't try to force the issue. So with us playing him as an undersized four, it's going to be a matchup problem for other people.
You talk about the undersized four, and obviously that's kind of something you guys are going to be working with all season, and obviously with Joel out, size-wise hurts you. Talk about the rebounding effort tonight. What did you think about having to deal with maybe being undersized and some of those matchup issues?
Well, we weren't undersized tonight, and so there's no excuse right there. So, if we're playing Purdue and we get out rebounded because we're undersized, then we can talk about that. But being undersized tonight had nothing to do with us getting out rebounded. Because when you play a team like Missouri S&T, when they take a lot of three-point shots, then you're going to have a lot of long rebounds. So it's not just your bigs that's got to rebound the ball for you. It's got to be all five guys, your guards coming downhill and rebound the basketball. So we can't use that as an excuse. So I can always ask guys, hey, do you want to be undersized and not play? And we play big, and now we get a couple more rebounds. So we've got decisions that we got to make, but I don't think we can use us being undersized as an excuse. And more importantly, when we get into Ohio Valley play, most of the teams are going to be undersized, because that's the way everybody's playing, because they want to have the opportunity to score the basketball.
When you walk out here tonight, having gotten to see the guys face another opponent for the first time, what's kind of the big thing this week that you're gonna focus on and harp to the guys as you get ready for Illinois?
Are they going to let us coach them? To me, that's the most important thing. And so now I think that we've had an exhibition game, we've had a scrimmage game, and some of the things that we've been harping on them about is this team can be a good team if they open up and embrace us coaching. We're never going to tell them anything that's going to hurt their game. We want them to be good. Why would we ever want them to be a bad basketball player? So if they accept the fact that the things that we're trying to teach them is going to help them individually, and Intel is going to help our team, then we can be a good team. How good, I don't know. But if they let us coach us, we can certainly find out.
And then I know exhibition game, every coach, you want to walk out with no injuries. Is that the case for you guys? Everybody healthy after tonight as far as guys that stepped out there?
Yeah, I really have no idea, because I haven't talked to our trainer yet, so I can't answer that for you. But there was nothing that happened during the course of the game that somebody was injured. So as far as like after the game, I haven't gotten a report yet.
And as far as guys that were out tonight, is there anybody that you expect back for Friday?
We expect Dondre Duffus to be ready to go on Friday. He probably could have played today, but we want to err on the side of caution. Joel Angus, we just don't know. Obviously, that's a huge part of our team. We like to have him back, but we have to wait and see how things go and how he progresses.